Welcome back to SnowRunner, guys, and in this video, you may be asking yourselves, why are we looking at the International Twin Steer yet again, the new International 5600 Twin Steer? Well, the reason for that is because the public test server actually just got an update recently, and that allows us to actually make use of a feature that was previously very much so absent on this truck, and that is the actual functioning four-wheel drive. And because of the fact that this truck did not have actively functioning four-wheel drive until, I say four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive until now, it didn't really get tested to its full potential. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically put everything on it parts-wise, and then once we've got everything on it parts-wise, we're finally going to be able to test its capabilities off-road with an actual functioning all-wheel drive system. And honestly, like, I've been wanting to test this thing with an actual functioning all-wheel drive system for a very long time now. So we'll get everything built up real quick, and I'm gonna probably throw on the log loader crane and potentially, log carrier front. Yeah, and then after that, we'll definitely be able to add a log trailer behind it, and that way we'll be able to get everything, get everything kind of set the way we want it, and just do a real quick run-through of all the different things that we can do in terms of, like, color customization and stuff like that. We'll probably paint it blue, and we will throw beans on the dash, and I'm thinking just like a couple of little interior stickers, nothing too crazy, just one there. We'll probably throw the wolf sticker right there, and then we'll be good to go. Now that we're outside and we've got everything engaged and the all-wheel drive system is technically functioning now, we can actually put it through a proper test. But before we do that, let's go ahead and grab the log trailer that we need, the log pole, there we go, and it seems as though you can already see the all-wheel drive system functioning, but we're going to go ahead and load this thing up with logs first. And, well, it's not completely straight. Hold on. It gets very temperamental if the truck and trailer are not perfectly aligned. Long logs. All right, so now those are good to go. So we're going to park this truck real quick because we don't necessarily want to just focus on this. There's another truck that made its way into the public test server, which is the third truck leading up to Phase 3, which should be, at this point, as you're seeing this video, Phase 3 should be a few weeks to a month out, although we don't have any confirmation on that right now, but based on what we saw from Phase 1 and Phase 2, that is our best guess. So moving on into the next truck that they just revealed. Now, this is the upcoming the Pacific P512, and as you can see, as of right now, it does not have any textures. It is actually a fully untextured vehicle at the moment, but this should give you a little bit of an idea. Again, like I said, it is an untextured vehicle in the moment, and it really looks like it. It really does look like it, but ignore the way the vehicle looks right now because this is a very, 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 very early development version of it. But the chassis does work, and the engine works, it drives and everything like that, so that's good. However, it does not seem, at least as of right now, it does not seem that there is any all-wheel drive or diff lock options, and I'm really hoping that that changes in the future because I feel like this thing would have a lot of wasted potential if we weren't allowed to have a diff lock option, or at the very least, an all-wheel drive option. I feel like an all-wheel drive option would be sort of the bare minimum for this thing, but you never know. Now, to do a size comparison, let's bring out the P12. So if we grab the Pacific P12 and we bring it up next to it, the Pacific P12 should be similar in size, but not exactly the same. So if we get the P12 and put it right there, let's see, in terms of size, how much bigger the P12 is than the P512. So if we park the P12 next to it, okay, so the P12 is a fair amount bigger, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not to down on the P12 or anything, but what I think it does highlight is that when you compare the 512 to the P12 definitely looks like it's a little bit more suited to full-on, heavy hauls, whereas the 512 looks like it may be better suited for maybe shorter distance hauls, or maybe hauls on tighter roads, tighter trails where you need a slightly smaller truck. Now, real quick, let's hop in the 512 and take it into the garage and just see what we can do in terms of garage options right now. Although there shouldn't be all that many, I do want to give a little bit of a quick run through of the current options that we have available. So we have the A12V 7800, 850 TTA, and Westline V12, which we're going to go ahead and equip. You do have the fine-tune box, the high-range box, and the off-road box. I'm going to put the fine-tune box in it. And the weird thing is, when you go to the stock suspension, it says it's locked. And then, when you go to the tires, it says, please install appropriate suspension. The weird thing about this is the fact that it tells us that the tires we have on it right now do not fit on the stock suspension, so that must mean that it's running a lifted suspension right now that isn't actually in the coding or the XML file for the truck. So that's an interesting detail. And the tires as well, even though this is currently the only tire option, I feel like it would be pretty far-fetched to assume that it would be the only tire option. I feel like that would be a really weird choice on their part as the developers if they decided to make this literally the only tire option, but we'll see. Now, of course, you have stock medium, extended medium, advanced medium, and high power medium in terms of winches. And then spare wheels-wise, you have the 2 spare wheels up there on the back. Snorkel-wise, you have a couple of different choices. And then you have the standard ones, which the standard ones are not textured, but the other ones are, which is actually, it's kind of weird seeing textured snorkels on a untextured truck. But moving on, you also have the heavy-duty crane, the PC320. You have the log carrier. You have the LP4 log loader crane, the flatbed, the maintenance frame add-on, which does look really, really good on this truck. You have the metal detector module, the seismic vibrator module. You have the sideboard bed, fuel tank, 3.8 loading crane, and saddle high and saddle low. So you can pretty much use this truck for just about anything that you might want. Exhaust-wise, you have a few different options here. Nothing too crazy. And then you have a cabin protector, horns, external horns. You know, you do have a light bar unit, which is definitely an interesting addition there. And then you have bumpers, and we all know where that bumper's from. And then front side wise, you have angled with beacons, and then just a single wheel choice. And then, of course, when you go back into decorations, it completely freaks out, and there's obviously something missing right now that is yet to be added later. But again, this is a very early development truck. So we're going to back out of that real quick, and I'm actually going to, before I drive and test out the International that now has the updated all-wheel drive system, I want to see what this thing has available to it at the moment in terms of trailers, because I don't think it'll have all that many, but I would at least like to know what it does have. So let's see. Flatbed semi, fuel carrier, flatbed, sideboard, let's see, fuel carrier semi, trailer log pole, generator trailer, maintenance trailer, log trailer, that's really good, service trailer. There's your gooseneck that gets stuck on everything. Wide flatbed, super heavy. It actually looks really good behind this truck. I think this truck is going to be a good candidate for pulling the super heavy. You got the step deck, you got the heavy-duty lowboy, and that's about it, although I'm sure you could also pull the other story-specific saddle-high trailers with this as well, like the construction trailer and the oil trailer and stuff of that nature. So now that we've shown the new Pacific, let's get back into the Paystar Twin Steer, the 5600TS, and see how it does with its newly added all-wheel drive system through a series of challenges. And while we are doing those series of challenges, you know, I figured that since this truck is definitely going to be used in mostly objective-based gameplay, why not test it with a load on the back? I mean, it makes more sense, I think, to test it with a load on the back than without one. Now let's see how you're gonna do once you get up to the water. Now I wonder if they updated the horn. Let's find out. Nope. Dude, if that horn makes it to release, oh boy. Oh boy. There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be like, I'm sorry, what is that? If that when that makes it to release, oh my god. There's a lot of people that are gonna be like, excuse me, what the heck is that? Like, straight up, dude. Now, I don't think we're going to attempt the hill climb with this, although I really do want to see the mud capabilities with this setup, because the mud capabilities were what I was really concerned about before, because when I very first drove it, I drove it into the mud, obviously not knowing that the all-wheel drive didn't work, and I beached it immediately. Now, I'm really hoping that with the newly added all-wheel drive system, I'm really hoping that that issue is remedied, but it may not be. We'll find out. All right, what have you got? Come on. Gotta lock it in high. It's doing well so far. Isn't it, Beans? Yeah, he says yes. Man, it's so much more capable now. It's worlds more capable now. I even let off in high, changed directions, got back on the throttle, and it was okay with it. That's the wacky thing. That's the wild part about that, is that it was okay with that. That's insane. Look at that. Wow. Okay, so it's just now starting to bog down. Let's kick in the... Oh. Well, it's a little unhappy now. Oh, no. Wow. Putting it all the way back in low minus actually enabled it to get a little bit of a sure footing. And it was all good from there. I mean, I was surprised too. I'm actually really surprised that it ended up doing that. That's really commendable that this truck was able to do that. Although, if that's the performance we're going to see from that particular mud lane, I'm not going to take it to the other mud lanes because I feel like that would be a little bit of a bad idea, let's say. Let's say that would not be our best course of action. Let's use that fine-tuned box to pull her on out of there. Not bad. Quick run through the rock field on our way to the dips obstacle. Now, this thing should go right through the dips obstacle with the new, actually working all-wheel drive. Again, it was such a disappointment, in my opinion, and I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that we were all disappointed when we got our hands on this truck and then didn't have working all-wheel drive, even though it was an option. And I think now it really, really turns this truck into a whole new beast. All right, putting that fine-tuned gearbox to use again. Let's see how she does. Doing pretty well so far. It's got such an odd spread between all of the different axles that you often wonder, like, will it get high-centered? Will it not? I don't know. Like, because you never really do know, but it's so long, and yet there's this weird in-between area where there aren't any axles, and so it's always that weird back and forth on, like, will it maybe get into trouble? I really, like, you can't say, unless, of course, you drive this thing literally every day and you have its performance characteristics memorized, then you may be able to say, but that's a different story entirely. So once we're out of the dips obstacle, we're going to go ahead and make another run for the bridge jump, and I know that we did the bridge jump in this thing before, but I feel like it would not be a proper testing grounds video without going off of the bridge jump. I mean, and it's funny because, you know, there were a couple of testing grounds videos a while back where I was like, well, you know, we do the bridge jump a lot, and, like, it wasn't necessarily a big part of this test, so I won't do one. And everybody in the comments was like, where is the bridge jump? And I was like, you know what? Duly noted. Now, I love doing the bridge jump, but I think, you know, back then I didn't realize how many people really expected the bridge jump. And now that I do, I'm like, dude, whenever we're out here, we're doing the freaking bridge jump. It's happening. It's gotta happen. All right, let's make our way up the rest of the hill and put it back in automatic mode. But before we head down the hill, we are going to put the high range box in it. We already have the most powerful engine, and that added weight might actually make us go faster in terms of going downhill. So let's go. There's 7th. Come on. 8th. Oh! Whoa! And somehow, we still have all of our lumber. The lumber survived! Dude, okay, our suspension is fully damaged out, but I don't care. The lumber survived. That, I don't think we could ever top that. I don't think this truck can ever top that. We kept the entire load of lumber in the trailer and jumped at least the cab of the truck over the barrels. That is, like, probably the best, you know, perfect combination of events that I think I've ever seen happen here on Testing Grounds. So I am very happy with the updates we've seen to the public test server so far, and I'm sure that we'll see many more before the before Phase 3 actually goes live in about a month or so. So I can't wait to see those as well, and I will of course keep you guys as up to date as I can on all of the newest updates as soon as we get them. And if you guys enjoyed this video, then make sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions on it in the comments down below, and let me know if you're excited for that new Pacific as well. The new Pacific is freaking cool. But yet again, hope you all enjoyed. See you guys next time.